All right. We will probably be a smaller group today. One, because I'm having a huge workshop tomorrow that lots of people are registered for as well. And also because of the holiday. So, since it's going to be a smaller group today, I'd love to take the opportunity to go around the room and have us all get better connected with a quick little framework, who you are, who you coach, and who you're looking to be introduced to. That's super helpful for me when I go back and make my notes on these meetings so I know who people want to get connected to. David George Brooke in the house. Great to see you in purple today. Ron Higgs joining us. All right, let's start. Go around the room. Sajad, you were here first. 10-second intro, who you are, who you coach, and who you want to be introduced to.
John Taylor just graduated my program. Faizan's in my pod. David Brooke was in my pod. Keith graduated my full program. Please talk to those people.
Thank you, as always, for following instructions and
What
guidelines.
were there was instructions?
Yes, there were, but since I'm blonde, you didn't listen. It's okay.
I was
Okay.
staring at you the whole time though.
Oh, great. Ooh. Great. Steve Campana, Steve from Iowa.
I'm Steve, just starting a business coaching and advisory practice after 43 years embedded inside a CPO, public accounting firms, owning three of them. And my ideal client is business owners and their leaders. 15 to 60 employees would be ideal. My upper band is 75 employees for the right situation.
Awesome. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Mike
Good to be here.
O'Neill.
Hey, I'm speaking to you from Dalton, Georgia, and I help leaders tackle challenges like rapid growth, team misalignment, and leadership gaps. So,
Awesome.
the ideal client for me is a business leader who either is personally or organizationally stuck.
Love it. Thanks, Mike. Dr. Pat.
Reading in my mind, I wanted to escape. Am I unmuted now?
Yep, you're good to go.
You know, I am very focused on the program that I'm launching in January. And so it is a facial exercise program for men and women so that they can keep their competitive edges longer. And we all know that you get judged by how you look, especially if you're in corporate. So that's kind of where my focus is at this point in time. And, looking for people to meet who are, that are rising stars and on an executive level C-suite and as such, because it also includes really fine-tuned pieces for nutrition and also things that turn back the hands of time and also chronic illness and disease. So,
Wonderful.
and being more productive and those things that go along with being, healthy, wealthy, and wise. So that's kind of and I'm a little bit distracted because I just got done getting done with this big workshop. I'm going, I wanted to jump in today, so I'm a little bit not prepared for
No
this.
worries. There's no prep needed for this room. This is all about the conversation that we're going to have. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Nathan.
Yeah. Sorry, I was in the background when you were doing that announcement, but Nathan Siegel works as an artist. My thing is AI and working with people who want to use AI images in their business. Type of people I'd like to work with are people in public relations with a budget of 1 to 10 million.
Awesome. John McIntyre.
Yeah, so you built your company because you knew it was a solution that could change people's lives. But right now, you're stuck in the middle of a meeting and you're not understanding exactly what everybody's saying because they're saying something different. And you can see this vision so clearly, but you see it slipping through your fingers because everybody's on a different page. I show entrepreneurs how they can get buy-in from their teams and get their teams aligned through three proven pathways. I'm John Taylor McIntyre with Mutual Prosperity.
Awesome. Great intro, John. Wonder who helped you with that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I was gonna say it if you gave me a chance. Right, almighty. Take control of this room. Faison, my favorite LinkedIn person, guy.
Yeah, so a lot of people are writing content on LinkedIn, but they are desperate because they are not getting the engagement and they are leaving the platform. And that's where I come in. So I manage their LinkedIn profiles towards success. And at the end of the month, they get more revenue, more money. So my ideal customer profiles are CEOs and founders or anyone who is struggling with LinkedIn. And I am in Sajad's spot, and that's definitely of massive value, massive action.
And for all of you who know what a fan I am of LinkedIn, it's very rare that I follow somebody who talks about LinkedIn. Faison is the real deal. I follow everything he says and I do it all in my profile, and it's helped massively with my growth. So, the real deal. Thank you, Faison. Great to have you in my world. Keith, let's go to you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Keith, and I work with people who've done everything right in their life. They went to high school, got good grades, went to college, they found a great career path, but they realize that there's something missing, there's something lost, and they're not sure what that is. There's a sign from the universe telling them that they need to do something else, but they just don't know what that is. So I work with folks who are looking to transition into a new career path, something that they don't even know even exists yet. So, whether you're mid-level or senior level in your career, it's usually people who've been through the block in corporate world quite a few times that end up working with me. And when we work together, we look at where you're at and where you're going to go, and then what are the steps you need to take to get there. So, yeah, that's me. And let me know
Wonderful.
if anyone has any questions later.
Great to have you. Make sure everyone follow and put your contact info in the chat for anybody who wants to reach out to you. Let's go to Charlotte. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Berry, live in Charlotte, North Carolina. A lot of companies today are losing money or losing employees because of poor communication in their workplaces. And I show them how to reduce the turnover and increase productivity by improving communication between employees, especially among different generations.
Awesome.
And target clients would be business owners or executives managing these companies, multi-generational companies, 25 to 200 employees.
Thanks, Charlotte. Let's go to you, DGB.
Thanks, SDK. David George Brook, that gratitude guy. I get a lot of my clients now, 90% of my clients come from my speaking. It's all about framing your life around gratitude, and it's helping people really overcome frustrations with their health and business and relationships. And then within the last 6 to 9 months, I got a whole new category of people. I've done a lot of work for Boeing and finding there's just as many engineers out there that need help as there were other people. So it's all about framing your life in gratitude. And I have a whole structure how you get to look at your life through a new lens, which makes such a big difference in your attitude.
Love it. Thank you. David Visco with a
Hey,
new
everybody.
background. With a new background.
Yeah,
I like
with a
it.
new background. Thank you very much. Dave Visco here from New Hampshire. I'm with Your Business Made Easy. I'm a value acceleration strategist that helps six-figure service-based business owners build, scale, and exit their businesses. And these days, an ideal client for me is a business owner in the trades that's looking to exit their business within the next 2 to 5 years. Thank you.
Awesome. Rob Murray, let's go to you.
Hey everyone, I'm Rob Murray. So I help advanced coaches and consultants create a bigger pie and a bigger opportunity than they could possibly have if they were attempting to do it on their own. And I do it by helping them with advanced design strategies and facilitation strategies, and maybe even help them see around the corner of some of the things they're missing for how big the opportunities can be. So an ideal client for me would be a coach that's been struggling to do it successfully alone and has access to great opportunities that they just feel like they're not tapping the potential of the clients that they have, and they need someone in their corner to help them think through what the next steps are.
Awesome. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's go to Milo.
We have a limited time in which we can make an impression on somebody, convey our information, and leave them feeling inspired, informed, and hopefully entertained. And very few of us accomplish that. It's because we were never shown how to, and it's a learnable skill. It's not really a talent. So for 20 years, I've been showing people how to feel more prepared, polished, and powerful anytime they need to speak, whether it's a one-time speech you're giving or something you give on a regular basis, or maybe you never give a particular speech, you just want to be a more effective speaker. I show you a way to make that happen.
Love it. Thank you. Elsa, welcome.
Thank you very much. I am Elsa Johnson, and I bet all of you in this room know exactly what you're supposed to do to grow your business. And a lot of you are not doing it. And that's where I come in. I help you what blocks that knowing doing gap. And I work with entrepreneurs that is really feeling it in around the imposter syndrome, procrastination, and lack of motivation or direction. So I help them with clarity and that self-imposter syndrome that they are going through. I work mostly with people in tech and design. And what I'm looking for today is either speaking opportunities or somebody that you know really are struggling but can't quite figure out what they want to, where they're going wrong.
Wonderful. Make sure you put who you're looking to meet in the chat as well with your contact info, because I use a cute little trick with AI to match people up who should meet with each other. Let's go to Karen Buxman. Great to see you.
Hey there. Thanks, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Right now, I am working with coaches who want to strengthen their relationships with their clients, to lower the stress of their clients and for themselves, enhance their problem-solving skills, diminish conflict, and enjoy the journey along the way. I have an upcoming master class. This will be the third time that I have run this master class. It's international, and it's called The Missing Piece: Strategic Humor for Coaches and People Who Listen for a Living. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link below. Let's chat.
And if you're looking to have a good laugh, have a one-on-one with Karen. It was really awesome to meet her. And I love what she's doing and putting out into the world. All right, let's go to Ron Higgs. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. Ron Higgs. I'm an executive coach in the Seattle area. I work with engineers and other technical professionals in engineering roles, help them with their leadership, communication, EQ, and people challenges. I coach one-on-one. I do team coaching as well. Ideal client is a tech company where the CEO is experiencing conflict within the executive team, either the team as a whole or conflict caused by one executive that's negatively impacting the business.
Very good. Thank you, Ron. Let's go to Gordon Melville, aka Santa.
Imagine being able to break through our fear, demolish limits, and reach a level of success most only dream of. I'm Gordon D. Melville, Ontario, Canada, a mentor, speaker, and author. I work with pro athletes and high-level entrepreneurial men, or those who want to be. I assist awareness around who they be and want to feel they are having significance in their lives. I raise EQ. An ideal client for me is either an athlete adjacent, or an entrepreneurial man.
Awesome. Thanks, Gordon. Let's go to Susie Taylor.
Hi, I am a brand strategist and copywriter. So I help businesses figure out their message so that they can talk directly to their clients. Sometimes they think that they've got the right message, but it's just not the right thing. And so we clarify that and get down to what your prospects' problems are and how you help solve them. Right now, I'm starting to look at agritainment. So, folks who have a petting zoo, folks who have a corn maze, folks who have a pumpkin, you pick pumpkin patch or you pick apples. I just really want to talk to them about how they're getting their visitors and learn a little bit more about how I might be able to support those folks. So that's who I'm looking for.
Super unique. Awesome. Great little niche of people. Let's go to Michael Gross, the wingman. Unmute yourself first there.
The wingman is in the house, absolutely. And
Woohoo!
I help people create a routine of positive energy. That's what I do. Whenever someone talks to me about manifesting, I say, look, you can't manifest until you raise your vibration above the level of everyone else around you, because they're going to hijack it. So I talk to people about creating a routine of positive energy. I have them join my community where we practice positive energy every day, Monday through Friday, for 5 minutes daily. And then we have some other, videos and practices together.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Michael has been an off and on client of mine for a long time and a friend for a long time. He is one of the most consistent people doing videos that I had ever met. And I want to just acknowledge that he has been doing a daily video for how many years, Michael?
You know what? I think it's now about 7 years, I'll say. Somewhere
Yeah.
7, 8 years. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Someone just said to me this morning, they were walking by me in the woods when I was doing my video, and they said, I can't believe how consistent you are. And I said, you know what's unbelievable? Up until about, I'd say 3 months ago, I would have, if you asked me if I was consistent, I would say, no, man, no way. I am so undisciplined. I don't do anything, by routine. And yet I realized that I have. And 3 months ago, I really broke through that limiting belief, I guess I should call it. So thanks,
Well,
Suzanne.
it was definitely enlightening when I had my assistant scroll back through your Facebook group and try to find the first video. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. It was just there were so many videos. So really huge accomplishment. And we all know in this room what it takes to show up like that. So well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. My new friend, Alyssa, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Suzanne?
Good.
I am so happy to have made it here today, battling something. I am Alyssa Bakar, the consultress. I'm a real estate investor and business coach seeking to meet service-based business owners, lawyers, and coaches and authors to help them build up that active business so that they can build a passive income legacy. I myself am a product of a passive income strategy from my family of origin and an entrepreneur by blood, and I love to pay it forward. It's what lights me up. It's why I'm on this call today, because you all get me, and I am so happy to be here. High five, Sajad, for making our intro. And did I hit all the pieces I was supposed to hit?
You did a great job. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, last but not least, my accountability partner for almost the last 3 years. We talk almost every single Monday at 3 o'clock. Machen, MacDonald, welcome. You have to unmute yourself.
All right. After 46,000 Zooms, you think I'd get the hang of this, right?
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well,
those were some amazing introductions. So, am I supposed to follow that?
yeah. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are, who you coach, and who you want to meet, and then we'll get into this conversation.
Yeah. Well, for the last 20 years, I've had the privilege of having deep, meaningful conversations with CEOs and owners, helping them resolve two problems. Most people either know what they want and they don't know how to get it, or number two, they don't know what they want. So it's just really having conversations and bringing forth their best thinking, holding it out in front of them, and helping them find the courage to take action on it and live a better life, period.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely helped me do all of those things. And I think today I would love the conversation in the room to go to this place of having that person who is at a similar spot to you in business, that you can have I call it a co-active relationship with, where sometimes I'm the coach, sometimes you're the coach, sometimes we're both the coach, sometimes neither of us are the coach. And I think the dynamic of that is really interesting. And I feel lucky to have that in my own life. And it's different than mentorship and it's different than hiring a coach. So let's go there a little bit. What does that feel like for you to have that?
Well, it's an opportunity, I think, to really learn who we are through other people. Right, that's kind of what a coach is doing. You know, the old line I remember years ago when I got certified as a life coach is, you know, they kind of warned us that you're going to coach people on what you need to learn most. Right. And, you know, taking the ego and setting it aside and just being open to that, right? People and circumstances and situations show up in our life to reveal to us where we're not free, in our mind anyway. And so we're all projection machines. And I think if we can really honor that in ourself as well as the client, that's where the magic happens. You know, I mean, the collective wisdom on this screen is like mind blowing, right? So there's going to be a lot of gold in here today.
Yeah. Well, let's dig into, let me know in the chat why a yes or a no if you have that person in your life, in your business. And this is not a coach that you pay. This is not, you know, some structured thing, but do you have that peer that you meet with, you converse with, that you maybe each coach each other? Let me know, yes or no in the chat. Yes, Alyssa, of course you do. Yes, yes. Not one. Okay. Sajad says he has a hot blonde. I'm hoping that's me. I'm hoping that's me. Uh, David, yes. Awesome.
That was a
Oh,
perfect response, Suzanne. Good for you.
did you like it? Like,
Yes, that
did you like the hair twirl too? Like,
I did. I appreciated it. I was talking about you.
yeah. So humor is something I absolutely love. And I love the idea that you can have an accountability partner or, you know, somebody in your life that you talk to that you get to be yourself with. And I think if you don't have that, it's time to find it. Maybe this room is the place to find it if you don't have one. But vulnerability is key here, don't you think, Machen?
I don't do vulnerability.
Oh, get out of here. Okay.
No, I'm a big believer in it. One of my favorite quotes is by Pema Chodra, a monk, who she says, it's only to the extent we expose ourselves over and over and over to annihilation can that which is indestructible in us be found, right? And so everything that shows up, I'm always trying to put myself out in the most vulnerable way because I know that that's going to chip away the impurities to reveal the gold that I am. So I think, you know, our coaching that we do together back and forth, Suzanne, allows that, right? I can, quote, let my hair down with you and share the good, bad, and the ugly in the pursuit
Yeah.
of being better.
Yeah. And what about, you know, when it comes to coaching, becoming a better coach through hanging out with other coaches? And many coaches are afraid to do this for a number of reasons. Let's talk a little bit about that.
For me, you know, I know enough of my learning style is pragmatic, right? I'm not the person to necessarily read the book on how to swim, just throw me in the pool and I'll figure it out. So by receiving coaching, having the experience from a good coach such as yourself, I feel it, I experience it, but I'm also paying attention with another set of ears as the coach, right? I'm like, oh, I see what she did there, how she didn't come to my emotional rescue on something and let me kind of find my way with it. And it's like it's a note to self next time when I'm in that moment with another client and need to recognize that less is more, the silence is where the gold is, to exercise that. And
Yeah.
oftentimes I don't know to do that unless I experience it.
Yeah. I love that. And Sajad said something cool in the chat too. You learn the most by teaching. And I think learn by doing, getting paid to learn for other people is like my dream job. But I think when you learn coaching by coaching, if you don't have any clients right now and you're a coach, you need to be coaching either people for free, your friends for free. I don't, you got to find people to practice with in order to get better at the skill. And I think that's really important too.
I agree.
Okay. I'd love to hear from a couple of voices in the room about a couple of the things we just talked about. What accountability looks like for you, what practicing coaching looks like for you, and how you're currently putting that into place in your own practice.
Before we do that, Suzanne, can I just say,
Yeah.
Machen just talked about a quote from Pima Chodron on vulnerability. I get my quotes. I got a quote on vulnerability that says vulnerability does not mean weakness. And I got that from Hallmark last night, to tell you the truth.
Wow.
I just thought that was a little cutesy type of thing to add there.
Yeah.
Little
Takes a
Hallmark.
lot of courage to be vulnerable, right, Michael?
Amen.
It does. It does.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I saw Alyssa's hand up.
Yeah, Alyssa.
Hey, Mage.
Hey, Alyssa.
Good to see you, man.
You as
Yeah,
well.
I think the vulnerability piece of being all that you are. In fact, I find this co-active relationship, it comes into my client conversations as well. I have found that allowing myself to be vulnerable and share my stories with them when they're having an issue and saying, well, this is what's coming up for me. This is what has happened to me and like kind of what I've experienced. Like share with me what, and it's super disarming, but it also creates that deep trust that like they know they're getting all of me. And I feel like I can't undo that, right? I live my life and I do that in my client relationships. I tell my clients, look, I'm going to fall in love with you. This is part of what happens. You're going to be on my mind when you're with me, when you're not with me. I'm going to be thinking about you all the time. And like it happens in my family. I have a daughter and a son, and I now hear them coming back to me with their friend initiatives and things that are going on in their world going, and I thought about this, and I'm hearing them coach their friends. It
Nice.
is so cool.
Yeah.
And without that availability, without being vulnerable and willing to kind of like go there first to like show people it's okay. You don't have to be like perfect and walled up and this externalized thing of value. I think that's where all the growth lives and all the connection lives. So, and as far as accountability is concerned, like I love it. Like give me more of it. I have an accountability partner for like every initiative. I have a reading accountability group and a don't fuck it up accountability group. Like
Yeah.
thanks to Jod. But yeah, I just think the relationship goes hand in hand if you're willing to go there and you're willing to be accountable with your people, your clients, your strategic partners. I just think that is like the alignment that helps people to understand that you are who you say you are, and you don't actually have to say all the time who you think you are. It just kind of shows up.
Oh, I love that. I love that because when you are truly yourself, and I know there's all these words authentic floating around, but I don't think authentic is something you can be. You're either fake or you're you. And I think when you can go out in the world and do you, it resonates with the people who are supposed to resonate with you. I love that, Alyssa. Let's go to Keith.
Can I add one little piece
Oh,
to
sure.
that?
Yeah.
With the authenticity versus being real and so forth is that, and I'm saying this more to check it out with the group than I am making a statement, and that is that when we come from love, we're authentic, right? It's when we come from fear or the ego starts to weave its way in that the inauthenticity shows up, right? And the thing to really think about is not who we think we are that holds us back, it's who we think we're not. And then we're trying to compensate for that.
Who resonates with that? It's not who we think we are, it's who we think we aren't.
That holds us back.
Yeah. Really good, Machen. Keith, let's go to you.
Yeah, I really resonate with that, and a lot of what's been talked about so far. It's interesting when it comes to not just clients that work with me, but really anyone. I kind of see life as a mirror, right? And not necessarily identical to me, right? But it's like lessons or things that I need to learn, or things that I can appreciate, that I can part onto others, right? And it's through authenticity. But it's interesting, I don't know if anyone else feels like this here, but the way I'm authentic here in this setting is very different than I'm authentic with John or whomever. Like, each person, I have a different way of being authentic, if that makes sense, right? It's hard to describe, but I feel like we're a different self with each person that we talk to, and that's great, right? Like, you're just kind of reading the room with the person, and you're realizing, oh, it would be helpful if I do share this, or it'd be helpful if I don't share this with them too. You kind of reading energy, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. And I think showing up for, especially as a coach, right? Showing up for, I have some very, very conservative clients, and I have some very, very not conservative clients. And I think knowing yourself allows you to show up for each of those different types of people that you run into powerfully.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to John.
Yeah, so, I was thinking about the co-action relationship and what you were talking about there, and I've been involved with a four-person accountability group and quasi mastermind thing, and each one of them I actually was able to provide some coaching for, which was very beneficial for me, and then they've done some back for me too also. But there's one person in particular who for 6 months kept on talking about how she was part of another coaching group's program, and she kept on getting her hand slapped in regards to, stepping outside the box of what that main coaching was. But she wasn't able to be authentic because she was being kept in this little box, and I think part of it was that the other person didn't want to be overshadowed, maybe. But ultimately, 3 months into this, I was just saying, you're saying the same things over and over again. What do you think you need to be changing to make things happen? And ultimately, she came to an understanding that for that particular relationship, which wasn't mutual, she needed to make a change, and she made that change, and that actually changed her whole persona. I mean, she's just a different person, and she's being able to be more authentic because she's not held in this box.
That's a really good point. Good point. Holding in a box that we sometimes perceive ourselves to be in. Elsa.
Yeah, I think the vulnerability piece, I think a lot of us have been brought up to this thought that oh, it's just, it's crying over spilled milk kind of attitude. But I think when you are actually showing vulnerability, especially with your referral partners and the people in your inner circle, you start understanding sort of that vulnerability is not an all or nothing. It can raise as the stakes in the relationship raises too, because then it increases the trust too. Oh, you trust me with this piece of you, I will trust you as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's really important as you get closer with people that you are not holding back. That saying, no, it's not just all roses over here, today was a shit show or whatever, that you really allow yourself to go there with people.
Agreed. Machen, any tips on being more open to sharing those types of things. I mean, I know there's been times on Mondays when I show up and I'm like, whoa, today was just, and there's other times where the other person, where we show up super excited and super motivated. Any tips on that?
Well, I think, like Elsa said, vulnerability really paves the way to building and deepening trust, right? And when we feel trust or feel safe, we're willing to be more confrontational, if you will. And it's through confrontation or through conflict that, new perspective is born. And if we give ourselves that gift of, getting messy and not saying it right and processing out loud, right? That's a big part of coaching, is just helping the client process stuff out loud, right? Getting it out of this dark jungle out into the light. And we can recognize that that dragon that we think is in here is just this little lizard that's not really that big of a threat. And one of the things that I always try to live by, this comes from A Course in Miracles, and that is, what's real can't be threatened and what's unreal doesn't exist, right? And it's going back basically just to love and to fear, right? So if we can just remember, love can never be destroyed. And if that's our come from, we've got nothing to worry about. But again, the ego coming from fear can make up a hell of a lot of stories, right? That can keep us locked in a cage. And the cage is made up of these holographic bars of different types of fear. And so when we kind of take a swipe at them and we recognize they're not real, right? And be willing to step beyond that, that's when our life and world really opens up.
I have so much to say on the realness of those thoughts, but let's go to Faizan.
So I am going to talk about both the vulnerability and also the accountability. So for me, the vulnerability is directly proportional to trust. Because when I share stories where I accept my vulnerability and I talk about it openly, I think a lot of people, and especially my client, they resonate with it. And that means that I am attracting them. And that's the secret, to attract the client, and that's what 2025 is going to be if we want to excel in marketing and in sales, to attract them. So I guess vulnerability for me is a tool, as a client attractor tool. And now talking about accountability. So I recently started to hold myself accountable, and just imagine now my revenue is now 3x.
Wow.
It's less than a month. And every day I admit my business mistakes. And also every day I tell my community about my 3 business wins. And it makes a huge impact. And every day I'm focused. And I can speak a lot about accountability. And that is due to because I am in Sajad's spot, which gives us the opportunity to share our business mistakes every day and business wins every day, and keeps us focused. So accountability is definitely a game changer.
Yeah. And you mentioned self-accountability, Faizan. Say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so that is more like um to looking into my everyday, like the time that I spend for doing business, making calls with the clients, and also the time that I spent on making money. So in terms of that, for me the self is business, and so that's where accountability helps.
So you're holding yourself to certain measurements every day. I talk about this a lot. A certain amount of people that you talk to every day, a certain amount of phone calls you have to make, a certain amount of, posts if you have to post every day, or yeah, I like the idea of not lying to yourself or not BSing yourself on a daily basis in your business. That's the first person you don't lie to in business, I guess.
Yes, and exactly. Every day I have to post on LinkedIn for 7 days a week for the whole year, and also every day I have to do 20 to 25 comments on LinkedIn to add massive value to other people. And also, every day I show up on LinkedIn. So definitely these are the metrics that help me hold myself accountable.
Which is how we met. So full
Yes.
transparency, what he's holding himself accountable actually works to help meet people. So great job. Great job. Let's go to you, Sajad.
In terms of vulnerability, I'm afraid to be myself because people might not like me,
Very
but
true.
I'm starting to come out of my shell. I have a team of therapists working on that. Suzanne's story. A couple of years ago, Larry Calls said, I'm the best in the world at productivity and accountability. And there's all these people running crappy groups, fake ass masterminds. I've never been to a mastermind where somebody was as smart as I am. And then I told Suzanne about the idea Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I woke up Thursday at 8 a.m. and I had a website and a way to charge money. I had everything. So, crap. I want to talk about crap. Write this down, ladies, gentlemen, and confused people. Collaborations, referral deals, affiliate deals, and partnerships. Be careful of who you associate yourself with. I only hang out with rich people. You can hate me. I don't care. I'm in therapy. Yeah. So I consider the source of all information. So Suzanne is equally valuable. She's one of the only people I don't charge money to. She doesn't charge money to me, but I rarely do that because you have to be of the same value to me as I am to you, and that's not many people because I'm a fucking genius. Um, the productivity and accountability pod. Here's 9 elements to look at. I charge a lot of money for this. I suggest writing it down. Days worked this week, hours worked this week, hours spent doing profitable activities. No reading, researching, creating, or analyzing. How many meetings are in your calendar? How many networking events did you attend this week? How many one-on-one people did you meet with this week? Presentations given this week, podcasts, social media posts, social media platforms, days you posted on social media, and the amount of money you made, amount of money generated. So looking at money making activities over everything else. Because a lot of people, a lot of my former clients will say, I had a great day today, Sajad. I said, what happened? Oh, I got a new referral deal. I got a new affiliate deal. I got a new partnership. I got a new whatever the crap is. Collaboration, referral deal, affiliate deal, partnership. How much money did you make? I made $24,000 this month. The only thing that matters is how much money you're making. The rest of it is crap. It's a way to feel good about yourself without actually closing deals. It's a people pleaser thing. People pleasers want everybody to like them. They never want to get rejected, and they never want to make anybody uncomfortable. So they don't try to pitch. They don't try to sell because they don't want to get rejected. The ultimate, I'm done in a second. The only metric that matters is how much money do you make.
Thank you. Thank you. And when you really think about accountability, those demographic or metrics that you shared, Sajad, were spot on point. Machen, any comeback for Sajad?
Well, at the risk of pissing off Jad, I don't agree that money is the only measurement.
Okay. What
May I
else
respond to that?
else are we measuring if we're in business and we need to pay our bills?
Well, if that's the measurement, then yeah, that might be the most important thing. But I'm a big believer in growing people so the people grow the organization. So I'm looking at how did I grow my people? And in the land that I kind of live in with a bunch of CEOs, yeah, you've got to hit the numbers. You've got to make the money for sure. But that's part of the scorecard, and it's a lead indicator, right? Or excuse me, it's a lag indicator. The lead indicator is, am I growing the people? Because if I'm growing the people and they're becoming effective, the money will follow. But if I'm not paying attention to that, the money will drop off. So I'm not disagreeing with what Sajad says. I'm just saying that there's a little more under the surface that we probably want to be measuring along the way.
Especially, well, if you look at a solo coach, an independent, solo practitioner, We're not developing people, so we need to be developing ourselves, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like, one of my favorite sayings comes from a book called Go for No. And they make it a game in sales of trying to get so many no's per day versus getting a yes, because they know that if you go for that, you're going to build some skill along the way. You're going to hear more ways to navigate the concerns or the objections. So along that lines, if we're just a solopreneur, is like, what do I need to go, what's the metric I need to measure to grow myself that will lead to the making of the money as well?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Gordon.
I find it interesting. I think there's a linchpin in there. Everybody's talked about in sales, and I spent 25 years in the retail automotive sector. You have to have really, really, really thick skin. But if it takes courage to be able to stand in your own empowerment. And I think a lot of times we do this thing where we have a Superman moment and we go, I'm going to be unabashedly, unapologetically me. And if they like that, great. If they don't, I don't care. But as soon as somebody that we love or respect questions that, instead of standing there in that empowerment, we turtle and we put our mask back on and then we become disingenuine again. And so, it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, but it takes a lot of courage to stand in that empowerment when you might be the only person standing there, right? Can you stand there when everybody's is talking in a different way than you are, or has a different view than you are? We all have different opinions, but at the end of the day, can I have that empowerment? Because I think that's where that builds your own self. Having accountability partners or people that you can talk to. One of the things I love about Suzanne is that she loves you enough not to leave you where she finds you. So if you need if you need to be patted on the back, dusted off, and picked back up, great, she'll do that. But if you need to be kicked in the butt, she has no problem doing that either. And something I learned from Sijat in one of his things that really impacted me, and I've been thinking about it, mulling it over and talking about it with people, that goes to this point, is the difference between nice and kind. Everybody wants to be nice. Nobody wants to have the hard, right? You got toilet paper on your shoe, or you got a booger in your nose, or you're screwing up here, and we don't want to do that because we want to be nice. But there's no transformation and no growth that happens in nice. We have to be kind. It's kind to be able to have those hard conversations, but we have to have courage and be able to stand in our own empowerment to be able to do that, so that regardless of what the other person says, we're not responsible for what their response is. We're responsible for putting our own self out there. And so anyway, the vulnerability to accountability, we need accountability partners that will kick our butt when we need it. But we also need to be, you can't be vulnerable in a place that's not safe and unjudged. Right. And especially men, if we feel not judged and safe, we'll open up. And until that happens, we will not open our mouth, period.
Yeah, totally. Mic drop, Gordon. Yeah, really good. Machen, when you asked me very early on in our relationship, you asked, how's that working for you about something? And it's become one of my very favorite coaching questions of people. It's challenging, but yet it's not threatening. It's putting the responsibility back on the other person, which I think is just a genius coaching move in itself. But at the same time, it's become one of my favorite motivating questions for even people who aren't my clients, that you're just in conversation with, and they say they're doing something, and well, how's that working for you? And a lot of times it pulls out some vulnerability. So thank you for that question.
Well, I borrowed that from Dr. Phil, so let's
Oh,
give
Dr. Phil.
attribution there. But to your point, right? That phrase, the inflection is really important with it, right? Because it can come across as kind of holier than thou or condescending, or if we're coming from a place of love and curiosity, it can be that catalyst to pull forth a deeper thinking on the client's part.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I say often, I'd like to challenge you on that. If I have a really staunch, like, opposing opinion that, I don't know, might be taken wrong, I let them know up front that it's going to be a challenge, right? I'd like to challenge you on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Byron Katie's line, right, is do you know that to be true?
Yeah.
It's just it's getting out of the routine, or the pattern really, and getting somebody to stop and rethink some things and take a different perspective around it. And
Yeah.
that's where the miracle is. It's just another perspective that we didn't see before.
So here's a question, and then I'll come to you, Sajad and Elsa. I'd like to pose this question. Do you think that because I'm a woman, you're a man, that we are able to have a really different perspective for each other?
How do you mean?
Do you think that the fact that we're not too alike, demographic, psychographic, people, we're pretty different, similar age, but different. And do you think that fuels, what we've created, in a way that helps with accountability and vulnerability and, coactive relationship?
Well, I think it can't help but not, right? It's kind of on what level do you want to have a conversation? Like my core belief is that, we are all one. We come from one source, although we're each an individual expression of that source, right? So it's like I bring curiosity, as I know you do, and probably just about everybody on the screen, is this person that's in front of me that I might be coaching, they're my teacher, right? And I get to learn through them and vice versa. So I always come from curiosity of I know what my perspectives are around this. Let me go around and behind and under and over and get what your perspective is that I otherwise couldn't see on my own. And I think that's where it brings out your brilliance and you bring out my brilliance.
Interesting. Cool.
Not sure if I answered your question.
Not really, but that's okay. I'm curious because, full transparency, vulnerability, 90% of my clients are men. And I often wonder, is it because I'm strong, independent, I don't need to be saved, I don't need to be taken care of, but I have this motherly kind of way I take care of my clients. It just makes me curious. And, with numerous relationships, yours in particular, being held accountable, I find that male persona holding me accountable works better for me. Just interesting, just
Yeah.
to note the difference there. Let's go to you, John.
Mr. MacDonald.
Yes, sir.
I felt triggered. I'm just kidding. I agreed with everything you said after you said we might disagree.
Do you want to work that charge?
What's that?
Do you want to work that trigger?
No, I'm okay. I was just kidding. I speak in the black and white because I'm dealing with people like Keith and John, which are super intelligent, very kind, sweet people. And so at these networking events, 90% of the people are broke, right? If it doesn't pay all your bills, you don't have a business, you have a hobby.
Right.
So first, I would say top priority of a business is make money. Then be worth way more money than what you charge. So the goal is to help people. And what I do actually is exactly what you said. It's really personal development, self-development. Like Jim Rohn says, if you want to make 2 times more money, make yourself 2 times more valuable. So it's really about the individual more than the business. My friends in week 4 of my program, she's like, "You're really a transformational coach because you changed my life." And all my clients say that. I say, but if I said that publicly, nobody would hire me. I'm gonna transform your life, so I don't say that shit, right? First make money because my clients will help people a lot prior to making money. First make money, then be worth way more money than what you charge. And number 3, and Suzanne and I have talked about this a lot as well, don't do too much stuff for free. People think if I do a lot to help people, then people will hire me. Then the people think they're your friends. Then they don't hire you. Then you become resentful because you said, oh, I helped her for 3 hours. I helped him for 4 hours. I offered 30 minutes of my time without charge. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm going to add massive value. I'm going to operate with intention and not be concerned with the outcome. After the 30 minutes, you can hire me or you can not hire me. I don't care. I really, really don't give a fuck. Give away all the information without charge. When people want help with the implementation of the information, then that's where you pay me money. So I think that I'm just speaking, I've been doing this over 10 years. I'm old, I'm just really good looking. I've been doing this over 10 years. Thanks, Mike. And so so my clients are just fucking sweethearts. And I got to get them out of that being the sweetheart thing and make money first and then help people. But I don't disagree with anything that you said. I don't think I agree with everything you said. I don't think anything you're saying is against what I'm saying. I'm just saying it in a different way because of my experience.
I would agree. I think we're singing off the same song
Yeah.
sheet.
Yeah, I think so too. And what I think is interesting is, Sujat is working with solopreneurs typically who are struggling with being nice and making sales. And, what's the difference between that? And Mation's ideal client is more the CEO who is empowering a team of people. And what does that look like? So that's the different tweak on perspective that's so fun in conversation. So I appreciate both of you sharing your perspective on that. Really good. Let's go to Elsa.
So a couple of things that I want to sort of follow up on that people, I keep hearing the word tough love. I think we should just like throw away the tough because if it's love is holding people accountable. Love is making you live up to your word. It's not tough love because if it's tough love and then it's not really love, then it's just like beating you over the head with a stick. And it, so I sort of resent that term. I don't know how to say that because I think that everybody here comes from a place of love and want to give people the best possible or help them be the best possible person they can for themselves, right? And yeah, exactly. There's no such thing as brutal honesty either. No, it's honest or not. And that goes back to accountability. The root of accountability is to hold to account. So we hold to account. That means we can count the things that we do. We can actually see what is being done. And I think that's people are so afraid of these words because they put in a whole different meaning. They feel like it's punitive, but it's not. It is simply just tell me what you did and don't give me excuses. Just show up and do the things you've done. And if you didn't do it, don't come at it from the excuse. Just say, I didn't do it. Here was the reasons and here's what I can do about it.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's what I think is so important for us to remember is that when we want the best for people, we are doing them a disservice if we do not tell them what we see. As coaches, as everything else, it's our job.
Yeah.
Can I add to that? Because I think you're spot on in that as a coach, it's not our job to rescue people emotionally, right? That's their job to take care of themselves emotionally. And part of that is showing them how to ask for what they need in that regard and holding them in a high regard, right? And that they can take care of themselves. And if they don't have the tools, it's also an opportunity to share some resource with them. But what I found with my clients, whether they're a CEO or, an aspiring newspaper delivery person, it doesn't matter, is that we all want this clarity to reveal itself in our life. And it's the emotion that shows us what that is. But a lot of people don't find a way to be comfortable with the emotion, whatever end of the spectrum it's on. And so if we can tap into that, a lot of times when I'm coaching somebody, I let them feel the emotion, the discomfort, the fear, the sadness, because it's on the other side of that that the answers are, right? And if they don't feel into it, they're just going to keep ricocheting around in the same shit box.
Yeah.
If I might just respond to that, is that I feel a lot of times that people are not looking at saying, if I don't know how to do it, that's a different story, but then ask. You know, I'm not blaming you for not knowing, but I'm blaming you for not doing if you do know.
Right. And to accountability, and I would be curious, how do you hold somebody who's oblivious accountable? Right?
Oh boy, if you could answer that question, I probably could make a whole bunch more money. But it's
That's what I do though,
self-awareness.
Suzanne. Suzanne, that's what I do though.
That's why your clients get sick in week 2, because they have all this download of self-awareness, like, oh my God, I haven't been working in 5 years. I've been doing nothing and blah. And it's nauseating when you really look at yourself and, being able to do that objectively, whether you're in relationship with yourself or your accountability partner, is really key here in moving forward in your business. And I mean, so many people say that being an entrepreneur is a personal development journey, and I couldn't agree more, because working on your own self-awareness, Sajad says it really cool. Take yourself outside of yourself to look at yourself. If you can't do that, you're not going to move forward as an entrepreneur. You can't be a good accountability partner. You can't be a great coach unless you're willing to do that. And that self-awareness piece is really key. All right, we're at 5:02. I'm going to come to Alyssa and John if you have to go. It's been great having you. Here's your private invitation to my community, the Idea Lab, that's now off Facebook. Facebook's all gone. And we have conversations like this, not only in coach conversations, but in 3 other groups that meet and network. In 2025, there's a tech lab twice a month that's going to be AI tools. I geek out over AI tools and I'm really, really good at it. And I decided to bring that productivity to everyone else. So we're going to meet twice a month for that mastermind. And for the month of January, it's included with your $97 a month membership. So anybody needs to talk about that, let me know and we can schedule a time to chat. Let's go to Alyssa.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation in here today. My comments around collaboration with other coaches and money kind of overlap in the fear of being eclipsed. And I feel like the fear of being eclipsed comes from that industrial age mindset that we've all grown up with, right? You sit down, shut up, screw the screw, and you're only as valuable as how many times you screw the damn screw. And this is a mindset that the entire globe has grown up with over the last 100-something years. And so that fear of being eclipsed, or that fear that you can easily be replaced, is something I feel like the discipline of coaching is dismantling. Like, we are leading the charge as helpers of people, especially helpers of people who are bringing value through business. Like, entrepreneurship saves the world. Can I just get a high five?
Yeah.
Like, the reason why we are not interchangeable parts in this conversation as coaches is that each one of us has had a unique life, a unique journey, and we have gifts and skills that are unique to that. So we have to shed that mindset of like, well, Sajad's coaching program is the same as my coaching program, and we're going to have to compete. Bullshit. I think that if you can dismantle that like fear of being replaced because you are not unique enough, I think that is old thinking. And if you can turn that upside down, it's the same thing in the money story, right? Is I'm here to make money.
not to take it from other people and sit on it and swim in it like Scrooge McDuck. I'm here to make money because that empowers people to make better decisions for their lives. They're investing in themselves. So if we can like upside down the thinking around investing in people through coaching or investing in people through delivering value in business, like it's a game changer. So
Yeah.
like high five for everybody in this discipline because like we all have our way of saying it and those people that are going to gravitate to our style, our journey, our message. And just like competition's not real. Price is only an issue in the absence of value.
Machen, you got to go. Thank
I
you.
do. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Email will go out with Mation's LinkedIn and email if you want to connect with him and reach out. John, let's go to you.
Yeah, so just really quick, I really appreciate the whole discussion, both from you, Suzanne, and from Mason, and but everybody else. The idea of vulnerability, I'm going to be very vulnerable here. I've worked with a number of different coaches, and a lot of it was on like coaching style and stuff like that. But they said that they would do things on the business side, and really the business side part wasn't there. And so it was like feeling that I had been burnt and everything. And I knew going into Sajad's program that it was going to be like a boot camp, it's a 6-week boot camp, and I knew it wasn't going to be comfortable. But the thing was, I knew that I needed to get out of that comfortableness because these other coaches, that's all they were doing. They were never doing, she said about tough love, at least did, but they were never doing, make, hey, your zipper's down, whatever. They were never telling the truth.
Right.
They were always just, kind of saying, oh, you're doing a good job and everything. And that's not true. You need to actually be broken down to actually find yourself. And
Yeah.
with Sajad's situation, I had actually put in the chat here that it wasn't just business stuff that he helped me with. He actually helped me see that past trauma in my childhood is what was holding me back.
Wow.
And without having that break, okay, and that break was like at the 10 to 14 day mark, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and I've still got a ways to go, but I am a completely different person and have much more confidence because I'm able to deal with that stuff in a much different way and realize that these F-ups are just something that happen, and that's what makes me better by learning from them. And
Well, and welcome to the club is all I have to say. I invested numerous times, 10,000, 20,000, 15,000 to move my business forward. And none of those programs were even about business. None of them. It was, things that were making that person money. And I always use this example. I had a client who chose to work with somebody else over me, and it was $20,000, which she chose to invest in to learn how to have a successful Facebook group. Not how to sell, not what you're selling, not how you're packaging it, how you're talking, nothing. Just how to have a successful Facebook group for $20,000. The person selling that program has a successful Facebook group because she's selling something nobody can do. And it's not really real thing in business, but she's very successful doing that. She makes a ton of money, but it's not tangible business things she's teaching her clients. She's doing well with it, but are her clients doing well?
And that's how most of the situations are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you really have to be discerning when you're out there in the world and you go to hire someone. You have to ask these really hard questions. And I know many times when you join a group program or you join a coach, you don't even get to talk to that person. And that was the lesson for me to make sure I get the next person I hired, I get to talk to them because my bank code, if you're familiar with bank code, knowledge is first for me. I need to know what you know. And if it's something I don't, I will consider investing. But if I already know what you know, I'm like, no, thanks. So that's important to me. So knowing that about yourself for the next investment is really, really important.
I think as
What are you
coaches,
laughing about, Sajad?
I posted, I don't like talking to my clients.
Oh,
he hears from us so much every day. He gets sick of us. I'm sure he does.
thanks, Alyssa. Great seeing you. Don, great to see you. You were very quiet today. What do you have to say for yourself? Nothing? Nothing. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Gordon, let's go.
Just a quick thing. We also they say less than 3% of the population does any kind of personal development.
Mhm.
Less than 3%. So when we run around these spaces where we're all hanging out with each other, we go, oh, everybody's got a podcast and everybody's a coach and everybody's got a book and everybody. No, that's not true.
Mhm.
Right? That they say there's about 100,000, 150,000 coaches on the planet at the moment, but there's more than 8 billion people. It's not competition. There's room for all of us to make whatever it is we want to make, no matter how high that number is, and still have, because it's not a competition.
Yeah.
The other thing was, we say a lot when we're talking to somebody when they're going through something really difficult or hard, and we go, I can't even imagine. To a point Alyssa was making earlier, we need to be able to imagine. Stop for a second and go, you know what does that feel like? I need to imagine, because if I can't stand in their shoes, it makes it very, very difficult. And I think sometimes we deflect, right? We don't want to stand in those shoes because we know it's hard. We know that's going to be emotional. We're going to get vulnerable. We're going to be transparent in that space. I have to be able to embrace that. And so, to say, well, I can't even imagine. I think a lot of times we should be trying to imagine what that feels like. And we may not get close, right? Because some of the stuff and you've heard me say that before, but I believe life's not happening to us, it's happening for us, which we all teach. But I think it's happening for us to specifically and uniquely equip us to help other people get through what we went through. Right. So I can't talk about divorce. I can sympathize. I've been married to the same woman for 33 years. Right. But I can talk to people about suicide. I've been in that space. If they haven't been laying on the bathroom floor, been in the situation, not just had the thought, but been in the situation, I can talk to a level that someone that's never been in that space can talk to. So imagining being in that space, right? When we hear ourselves say, oh, I can't even wait. Give me a second. Let me try and step into that and imagine what that feels like. Makes us a better coach, makes us a better mentor.
I love that, Gordon, and it's so, so true. And I want to give you, from what you first said, I want to give you your marketing message today. I love marketing. I love organic marketing in particular. And I want you to remember that your greatest marketing tool is to get out of groups with people like you. And I'll say it again. Don't go network with a bunch of solopreneurs. Don't go network. This room full of coaches was not created for networking. It was created to simulate thought and conversation and connections for other people. Meet other successful coaches and refer business to each other. Awesome. But it's not networking per se. I'm not asking you to go meet with each other one-on-one and, see if it's a good fit. Maybe it would be, just from hearing what Sajad said. Maybe you want to connect with him, and maybe you think he's really smart or really funny, or you think you need to learn how to be funnier. Reach out to Karen. Wonderful. But it wasn't created for networking per se. And I'm going to argue the biggest transformation in my business came when I started joining groups that were for me. So I'm part of a learning community called Lattice Work. There's not a single coach in that group. Not a single. There's one executive coach, but he owns like $1 million company and he doesn't really coach. So not a single coach. And when I talk and I introduce myself, I don't say I'm a business coach and I have a community. I'm there for Suzanne. I'm Suzanne. I'm here learning about Stoic philosophy this week, and we talk about it. People have met me because of me. And so I want you to think about where you're currently interacting and get out of the circle. Because just what Gordon said just spoke to me. There are a ton of coaches out there. But when you go out there in the real world, in different communities that are for different purposes, there's not many coaches. And there's not many people who do what you do. And that's an opportunity to truly connect. And I'm going to use my workshop tomorrow with my AI mentor as an example. I created a workshop. It was 50% based on what I've learned from him being in his mastermind group for the past year. So he's got a huge following, a huge email list. He's connected to some really incredible people. That's not why I'm there. I'm there to learn. You see the difference? I'm there to learn. I'm providing value. I'm taking action. And I reached out. I said, I have this workshop scheduled. 50% of what I'm teaching, I learned from you. Would you like to partner with me on this workshop and teach it together? He said, yes. So my name went out to 80,000 people on his email list. My name is getting promoted in his Facebook group of 250,000 people as his partner, not his student, as his partner. Now, taking that one step further, I did everything for the workshop. I got an assistant. I expanded my Zoom room for the month. I wrote all the emails. I wrote all the posts. I shared everything in a document and sent it to him the next day. And he was like, holy crap, I'll partner with you anytime. That was amazing. I said, well, you're bringing a bigger list. I need to bring value in another way. And wrap your head around being of massive value to other people out of this incestual networking space. That's your marketing lesson for today.
Thank God I don't have to leave then.
So, John, go ahead.
Yeah, three things. Confucius said, those who think they can and those who think they cannot are both correct. Thoughts are physical. Whatever you believe is true, which is why I'm so fucking sexy. It's true.
It is
and
true.
rich. It's because Catherine Chadwick, no, but believing it before it becomes real and it becomes real. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad version 1. If you read it before, read it again. Rich Dad Poor Dad version 1. Less than 200 pages. Don't read version 20. It's got a bunch of political bullshit in it. Gordon, I think I've known you a couple of years now, and you know I don't say shit I don't mean. I don't like try to be nice. I wasn't raised with positive reinforcement, so it's difficult for me. Whatever's happened in the last couple of weeks or month with you, some serious shit has happened. Really, like it's a major evolution, brother. Major evolution you've experienced in the past. It's incredible. I don't know. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. I don't care.
The
But
Christmas miracle.
it's yeah. Jesus was black and born in March. Whatever, you white motherfucker.
In 4 BC.
Amazing mentors.
He's the most quoted prophet in the Quran too, in case you don't know, you racist bastards. But no, Gordon, you're it's amazing, man. I don't know what has happened to you, but it's cool to see.
I appreciate that. Really, really, really good mentors. One specifically happens to be in the room.
All right, Suzanne, can you throw everybody else so I can talk to you for 4 minutes?
Sure. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Appreciate you. Love to have you. Let's book a chat in the new year. See, Catherine. See, Gordon. Let me stop record.